Hello, everybody. My name is Jim, Connections Pastor here at True Hope Church, and we're going to take a moment and talk about Rooted and what it is and help answer any questions you may have about it. So thanks for tuning in. Why Rooted? Well, Rooted is actually a study that some of our staff had the experience of going through in a personal Bible study that they had with some of their friends, and they brought it back to the rest of the team and shared what a valuable resource it was. And we as a staff have been exploring it and going through our own staff group, and we're like, wow, this is something that we got to take to the whole church. Where did Rooted come from? Well, Rooted actually came from Africa. A church in Southern California was doing missions work in the African continent, and the church that they were working with there, they discovered that this church had an incredible discipleship tool that they called, I forget what it was because I don't know the African language, but it basically meant roots or rooted. And they asked the church, this material is amazing, can we bring this back to the States? And that church said yes. Well, Rooted is a 10-week study that our church family is going to be experiencing together. And when you join a Rooted group, you will be getting one of these books. Then we'll talk more about how to get that a little bit later. But these Rooted books are actually, it's not a fill-in-the-blank study. It's not a video-based thing. It's actually different topics each week. So we will be exploring topics like who is God and what is the gospel. We'll be exploring topics about why is there pain and suffering in this world, how to get the most out of life and discover your purpose as a follower of Christ. We'll be exploring God's view of money. We'll be exploring the spiritual battle that we face as Christians and so many other great topics. And again, this is more of a devotional style study. So you would have about 2 to 3 pages a day that you would read, and then you would journal your interaction, your experiences, what you're going through as it relates to what we're reading in God's Word that day. And it's about 5 days out of 7, so you get a couple days off in there, which I found personally helpful. But anyways, this study is really powerful because it's less about what someone thinks you should know and more about what does God say about this, and let's respond to that. And that's where I think you'll get the most out of Rooted. One of the things that I love about Rooted is there's a lot of experiential elements in this study. So for example, not only is there journaling and responding personally throughout your week to what God's doing, but there's also a serve project that your group will do together. There's also a prayer time that you'll set up, like a little mini prayer retreat that your group will either experience together or on your own throughout the week, and then come back and share your learnings from what you had, what God showed you through that prayer retreat. There's also learning to share our stories. And one of the things that I found most valuable in my staff Rooted group, and again, these are people that I work with every day, is we've spent time to share our story and learning to practice to share our testimony and our God story basically, and what God's done in our life. And I have grown closer to a staff that I work with every day, but something about being in this Rooted group and learning to share our stories together has been really profound. So there's a lot of great moments like that you'll experience in Rooted as well. One of the concerns that I think is easy to have when you experience Rooted or consider doing a Rooted study is, you know what, I'm a mature Christian, or I've been around the church for a while. I kind of already know about all these topics. Why would this be something that I'd want to do? Well, at the end of the day, I would say this. Vince Lombardi, one of the greatest coaches of all times, focused on the fundamentals. And he would say to his guys, right, at the start of every season, gentlemen, this is a football. And he would remind them of those basics. And there's power in getting reestablished in the fundamentals of our faith. And a lot of times we know more than we're applying. And so Rooted has really helped me apply a lot of fundamentals that I've already known. And so that's really helped. 2, I would say this, Rooted is not something that's just gonna be a flash in the pan here at True Hope Church. We've seen the power of what this content has given us. And as a church staff, we're exploring how Rooted might shape our discipleship as a church as a whole in the days and the years to come. And we're going to continue to launch more Rooted groups, and it's going to become more and more part of our culture as a church. And so we are really excited about that. And that's a reason why I think some of us who may be hesitant to take this step would be good to do so, because it's going to be an amazing part of the future of our church.